Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Distinguished Speaker Series. For those of you that are joining us new today, my name is Asma Wasti, and I'm the founder and creator of Accelerate Global and the program called Webinar Accelerator. We specialize in building and starting up new organizations with a solid foundation that creates stability, certainty, and predictability in your business with consistent cash flow, with a solid business foundation, regardless of the changes in the environment. And we do it organically without having any paid ads through our framework of Webinar Accelerator. Even if you're not an influencer, you're not a household name, and have no followers. We believe that you need to have consistent income. Otherwise, it's not a business, right? And one of my favorite things to do is to bring you folks, our members, our clients, onto the pedestal, our Distinguished Speaker Series platform, and talk to you about what keeps you going, what made you an entrepreneur, and how did you arrive at it through your journey to this point? Because each one of us is so inspirational in our own story. And I'm so thrilled and honored to bring to you today Stephanie Emmett from Colorado, USA. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Asma. Thanks for having me on today.
Thank you for joining us today. We've got Deanna Kearns. Wonderful to see Stephanie. She says, Amy. Hi, Amy. Thank you for joining us. Wonderful,
Hi,
guys.
Deanna.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us live. So say hashtag live for those who are, and if you're seeing it in the replay, do hashtag replay. Now, Stephanie, you are one super amazing person. I met you a little while ago, but I was blown away with what you do and how you do it. So tell me about yourself and your business. What is it?
Well, I'm a copywriter and I specialize in relationship marketing and social selling because of in my sales background, I learned that there's a better way for sales than just pitching everybody you get within arm's reach of. And I'm seeing more and more in social media that people are struggling with that. They feel slimy sales, used car salesmen, they feel inauthentic, or they just don't have the how to transition the words or phrases to use. And so that is why I do what I do. I love it.
Yeah, and you're so good at it too. We're going to talk more about that. But tell me, did you always wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Not in that direct of a mindset, but I've been earning my own money since I was 13. And my dad was an auto mechanic. He had his own business from before I was born. And my mom was always home with us kids, but she did dog grooming and upholstery and floral design. So I guess it's in my blood to never be satisfied with doing nothing and finding something to try and support myself or add to the household income.
Sure. But you also come from a banking background, right? You used to work in the corporate sector too. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Do. Well, I've worked for 3 different banks over the years, and so I've seen different approaches. And when I was in banking, we were required to have a sales conversation with everybody that came to our window or to our desk, depending on where we were. And so you figure in an 8-hour day, that's around 100 conversations in a day. And, some days busier, some days not so much, but on average. So that's 500 sales conversations a week, 2,500 sales conversations a month, and 30,000 sales conversations in a year.
Wow.
And I learned very quickly, in order to keep my job and get results and be able to sleep at night, I had to find a different approach than what the coaching at the bank was able to give me. So I pulled up from my background of MLM and learning copywriting, stuff like that. I pulled that background into my banking career, and then I was able to be more successful because I found out that when I was talking with someone that I had a connection with, it was a whole lot easier to say, "Oh, your daughter's getting married. Have you thought about getting a line of credit to help pay for it?" Made the boss really happy, made my customer happy, because now that took away their burden. And I felt good about doing it because I was providing something they needed, not just selling something for the sake of selling. And
That's
so
amazing. That's
I got
amazing because you figured out an authentic selling, a way of authentic selling that connected with
absolutely,
people, right? And that's where the
absolutely.
term relationship marketing and social selling comes from for you, right?
It
So,
does.
you your background for writing, and because how did you figure out that you were a good writer? I believe it had something to do with your, from a younger age in your school and your teacher.
It was. I discovered in middle school that my favorite questions of tests were essay questions. And because if I couldn't remember the exact answer, I could usually get close enough to it and kind of fill in around the edges.
Uh-huh.
Although I had one teacher tell me that their BS meter was going off. But, and then in my freshman year of high school, I had my English teacher. He was he exposed us to different kinds of literature and different processes, different thoughts, rather than your just basic grammar and so forth. And he saw that I had a gift for essay questions.
Mhm.
And so he handed me a book, which some of you may recognize from it being in the movies recently, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Chronicles of Narnia. So he
Uh-huh.
hands me this book by C.S. Lewis, and he says, "Write a play." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, you're really good at writing. You're really good at giving book reports. So just break down each chapter as if you're doing a book report, and pay attention to the most important theme of the chapter, etc. So he gave me a little bit of guidance, and then I just did it. And then our class went on to put on that play based
Oh,
on what I wrote. And that was
wow.
so cool and so scary at the same time. And still it's like, how did I do that?
Uh,
But it was the simple process, the step by step. And
mhm.
that's when I realized that no
You
matter
could
how
write.
big or how small the project, if I break it down into spots, small parts, and I organize it, then I can just do it. It's
Mhm.
so easy for me,
Yeah, and it
and
comes naturally to you too, right? That's
it
why,
does.
that's what the teacher spotted it. Diana says she knows the book. Yes, Diana, I've read
Yay,
it too.
Deanna!
Yay. Okay, so that's how you learned how to, and then you just kept on writing from there onwards over time.
I did. In
Yeah.
my teen years, I did a lot of not diary, but whenever anything hit me hard emotionally, either good or bad, I
Mhm.
would write a poem about it. In fact, I've still got in a folder somewhere some of that early work
You should
because
share
of
that with us
no.
sometime. Just pulling your red leg, Stephanie. Sure, I'm sure it was good at that time for what you wrote, but yes, that's how you wrote. Yeah, I used to keep a diary too at one point, so yeah, I can
Nice.
understand what we write. So, and you kept on writing in there. Now, over
Indeed.
time, yeah, go ahead.
I was just agreeing that, yeah, I kept writing.
Yes, good. So now over time, you grew up in Colorado, as you said, in Denver. You got married, and you got to tell our viewers, how long have you been married for? Because that says a lot about a person in terms of commitment and, loyalty and consistency of effort and work. Also, it kind of spills over into their work too. Tell us a bit more about your family life.
Well, I've been married to a man I met my senior year in high school,
Uh-huh.
and we've been married since then, 38 years this summer. So, of
Congratulations. That's
course, I'm only
amazing.
40, so
Of course. No,
I'm
we're not even gauging. Yeah, we're not gauging that at all. We're not dating you at all, for sure. On that one. But you did have your ups and downs and your challenges, your health challenges throughout, right? There's all kinds of
yeah,
challenges you want to talk about. Did you ever think about quitting?
sometimes.
Mhm.
um, it would be easy to just stop because, well, my husband, when he was a teenager, he got rheumatic fever,
Mhm.
and then they discovered a heart murmur after that.
Mhm.
And so the general plan was when he was 40, he'd have to have one of his aorta valve replaced. So I thought, okay, technology, they can do it, he'll get his valve and life goes on and everything's wonderful. Well, he ended up being able to wait until 2004, and that's when they replaced his heart valve. So he
Mhm.
has a tick. I call him my bionic man. But so he got his valve, and then in 2012,
Mhm.
he was pulling back his archery bow, getting ready. It was Father's Day
Mhm.
weekend. He went to pull his bow back, and
Mhm.
he tore his rotator cuff.
Oh, wow.
And so he went in and had that replaced that fall. And while he was in the hospital, it was supposed to be just in and out that same day, but he had some heartbeat irregularities.
Mhm.
And so they kept him overnight. And then when we followed up, they said he needed a defibrillator
Wow.
and pacemaker
Wow.
to keep his heart steady.
Mhm.
And that was the first time they used the term congestive heart failure
Mhm.
with the expiration date for my
Wow.
husband's life.
Wow.
And I mean, he'd been getting checkups yearly. I knew he had a weak heart, but nobody had said the words congestive heart failure
Mhm.
and the fact that
And
it's
you were
terminal.
there, and you were there with him throughout, and he's still here with you.
He's
You
still
were there
here.
too, and you've nursed him throughout this, and you still continue to face those challenges. And the reason I always bring this up with my guest speakers is because there's a lot of us, and Diana says we're the same age. Oh, yes, you and I and Stephanie. The reason I bring that up is because a number of our members and clientele are on the fence. They think that, oh my gosh, our cup is full, our calendar is full. We have the challenges coming out of our wazoo from everywhere. And that is true. It is, right? I mean, you were a prime example. And yet, so they find themselves, at a head with whether we should be building our business or not. We don't have enough time to put towards it. We don't, it kind of drives them and holds them back, those kind of challenges that they constantly are facing. And here you are with your husband in a congestive heart failure, going through one health challenge after the other. And there's so many more that you had shared, with me earlier as well. And you're still building your business. You took that decision and you ran with it. What was your
I did.
mindset at that time? Like, how did you do it? That's remarkable strength.
Thank you. Um, you never know how strong you are until you have to go through something.
Yeah.
And that has literally been true in my life.
Mhm.
In 2017, they told Jim he needed a heart transplant. And So we went over to Denver and went through the evaluation process and everything. And we go back to Denver once a month for his checkups. And I was working outside the home at the time. And I actually lost my job plus 2 other jobs because of having to be gone from Wednesday night to Sunday once a month, even though I could tell them 6 months in advance when I would need to be gone. It just, they said, no, you're not a reliable employee because you can't work whenever we need you to work. And this was entry level. This wasn't management. And so after I lost that last job, I didn't really try anymore. Thankfully, we had Medicaid. And so we cut all our expenses and, got into a low cost apartment, and there we sat. And I started helping some friends with their social media management and some email templates and that sort of thing. And I was doing to do something to keep my mind occupied so I wasn't constantly worrying. And at their encouragement, I decided to make a business. So I launched my business in fall of 2020.
Wow.
So that's when I started getting paid for it.
That's interesting. So tell us more about it, because it was really a favor for a friend, and you wanted to keep your mind off of all the challenges that were, happening in your life at that time, and you wanted to help her out, and you just did it. And then what happened? What happened when you went and ran her Facebook page for her and did the copywriting for her?
Well, she started getting more engagement. And she started getting more sales. She was an artist, so she was selling paintings. She was selling more paintings. She had more engagement. Her page, both her business page and her group, was growing. And so then I met someone else through her, and they were like, we've been friends for years. We've seen her social media. I can't believe the change since you stepped in.
You doubled it in such a short period of time, right?
Yes, exactly. And then, so they're the ones that pushed me into doing a business. They said, you really need, and they became my first paid client. And so their business page had right around 100 likes or followers at that time. And within 90 days, it had grown to over 600.
Wow.
Just from having consistent relationship-based posting. And so they grew like crazy. They started getting engagement. Their friends had told them their page was boring before, but now they looked forward to seeing what crazy stuff I was posting on there. And they started getting sales. Yeah, they have a custom embroidery business. And I don't know if I can say their name, but if you're interested, look me up. But I started doing their social media, and their sales increased, and it's a mother-daughter team. Well, in less than 90 days, the daughter was able to quit her full-time job and stay home to do the embroidery business. And this month, the mom is able to quit her full-time job. And I've only been working for them since October of last year.
Oh, wow.
So neither one
what
of them
a remarkable success.
Yes,
Did
thank
they
you.
think that they would be able to do that? Did they think that they would be able to? No.
No, they were pretty much chained to their desk for life is what they had thought. The mom especially, she figured, till 65 or later, she'd be chained to that desk, and now she's able to quit. So
and they're having sales through the Facebook page that you actually copyrighted for and created promotional posts and,
yes,
all of
absolutely.
the above. So I know you touched upon this earlier too, but I want you to talk a little bit more about this. So why do you think that relationship marketing and selling is such a key cornerstone in our, the nature of the business that we are taking forward, how we are interacting with each other?
Well, it's because of in today's life, we are so busy, we don't have time to get to know our local neighbors or merchants. And so the old, do business with a handshake and face-to-face getting to know someone's reputation has all transferred to the online space. And I mean, people, they hate to be sold to, but they love to buy something.
Yes.
And,
say that again. They hate to be sold to, but they love to
right,
buy something. Yes, that's so
right.
true.
And they will do business with a friend before they'll do business with a stranger at any time, even if there's not a price break. And so when you do all of your marketing in terms of relationship marketing, then they get to know you and your integrity and the value you add as you build that relationship. It's kind of like a trail of crumbs, right? Each time you post, each time you send a message, and it's building that relationship. And so that they get to know you and like you. And even if they don't need your product or service, they're going to become a walking, talking billboard for your business.
They're
And
your ambassadors. Yes.
they will introduce they'll introduce clients to you.
Absolutely. Yes, that is so true. And I love to collect quotes from people, and I always do it. I say that every single time, and I'm going to collect that one. People don't hate to be sold to, but they love to buy something always, right? And especially when it comes to authentic,
Absolutely.
authentic way of selling process. And that's what you're so good at. That process from content, from having that friendship talk to converting to offer. So we see a heart there. So thank you so much for your likes too, folks. Right, about converting from that conversation of a friendly conversation to an offer. You specialize in that?
I do. A lot of times people, they are great with starting the conversation, and but to transition into sales, it feels inauthentic and it feels salesy, and they feel like they're spamming. But when you take the time to get to know who you're talking to in building that relationship, it provides a type of social currency by adding value and by doing your research and stuff, so that by the time you bring up your offer, you've already paid with your time and your interest into their business and your added value. And so then you almost have a right to pitch to them, because if you've given them so much value, just in good manners, they're going to want to listen, right? And then when you have something that actually solves their problem, they're like, girl, what took you so long?
Yes, talk to me more. Of course.
Absolutely. And I've never seen it fail when the relationship is built that way. And it takes time. I'm not going to lie about that. It does take time. There are some tips and tricks to shorten that time.
That process,
but
yes.
Once you get that process going, it just feeds itself, right? And so instead of constantly going out and beating the bushes for new leads, or having to keep running new ads, then you can scale your services, like in your webinar series, which is why I got on with you, because of you helped me see the value. Instead of pitching one-on-one, it's like, why not build those relationships, invite them all to one place at one time, which is more efficient use of my time and theirs. And then when I have that relationship and I bring them all together and I tell them something that's going to help them in their business right now, that they can apply as soon as they get out of the webinar. And so then that's the beginning of the adding value. And presenting 100 to 1 is so much more efficient. And you can still add so much value, and then you follow up one-on-one, building that relationship. So it is just a game changer system.
Thank you. Thank you. And Diana says, you're awesome, Stephanie. Yes, I know, because I know her well. Absolutely, she is. Amazing. So tell us, so now since you're on that topic, tell us a little bit more about the webinar accelerator program that you are a part of.
Oh
How
my
do you
gosh.
find that program? How does that work for you?
Well, I found it, I was in a group, I believe, and I saw your invitation to get on this Distinguished Speaker Series. And I knew that would help me increase my visibility. And so it made sense to reach out to you. So I did, and we talked. And when I talked with you, it was like the light came on. And the whole thought of getting 100 people together to listen to me talk at one time instead of 100 hours of one-on-one conversations, right? It made so much more sense. And so I took a deep breath, and I had just got a brand new credit card. And so I jumped in with both feet and bit my nails at the same time.
Yeah,
But
and there is hesitation because when you're putting down money, I understand. Yes.
yeah, and I had never invested in my business or myself. I mean, we renewed our wedding vows for our 18th anniversary, and my dress cost $200. So I don't spend on me, right? But I talked it over with Jim, and he's like, yeah, go for it. So I did, and then I got inside the group, and I was just blown away with all the step-by-step learning and practical foundations that you provide for us. I mean, as a copywriter, I could do all of that before, but since I got in and saw your system, it streamlined it all so much that it takes me less time. So before, I could have helped maybe 3 or 4 webinar launch customers in a month. And because of how streamlined everything is since I got on with your program, it's enabled me to take less time to serve my clients. So now I can serve more clients. And that's without outsourcing, which I'm hoping in the very near future, I'm going to bring on a VA and start outsourcing some of my stuff so that I can help even more people. So it has just been such a lifesaver. I mean, if there's something I need, you bring it in. I was telling Jim I had to kind of snicker, but in a good way, because of I have a webinar coming up on the 22nd. And so I've been working on that, the lead magnet and the promotions and so forth. And then he sent me that image Saturday morning for a lead magnet for my webinar. And it blew me away. I told my husband, I said, how many coaches will text message their client on a Saturday morning with a graphic for their lead magnet? You know, that's way above and beyond. And it's a little thing. But the fact that even when we're not on a call, even when you're not, live in the group or something, you're still thinking about my business and how to help me. And that is something that creates a tsunami wave, and you can't buy that. You can't buy that kind of advertisement. You can't buy that kind of customer service. It has to be, it comes from the soul, and you have that, and that's what created a bond with us so fast, and the value you added. So it's made all the difference in my business. It's helped me scale, save my time, give me flexibility. So if on our next trip to Denver, if Jim gets admitted to the hospital, I've got my laptop, I've got my earbuds and I can still work, and I can
Yes.
do it around whatever we need to do for him. And if I was still relying on one-to-one to get
Mhm.
my conversations,
Mhm.
then I don't know how successful I'd be. But
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
can put my energy into preparing for a webinar and get up to 100 people at the same time,
Mhm.
it's enabling me to take my business to places where I never thought I could before.
Thank you
And
so much, Stephanie, for your kind words. I really appreciate it. And yes, it does come from the soul. Diana says it's a win-win. I love it. And I love it too. That's exactly what our group is about. It's about collaboration. Either I become your client, you become mine, or we collaborate with each other and create some bigger synergy, a bigger value for more people. And I truly, truly appreciate that's what our business stands for as well, is the customer service and the solid value that it brings with the results that drive with it. So so thrilled to have you, Stephanie, for within our program and definitely on our speaker series. 30 minutes passed by so fast. It's already 1:30.
oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, but it's so amazing to hear your story, your journey, and your strength with all the challenges that you've gone through, and you're still here and you're doing so wonderfully well and standing on your feet and helping others. That's remarkable, really. Hats off to you, for sure. So I'm sure we will hear again, and I can't wait to bring the next guest speaker on our series next week. So wait for it. You will be able to see some promo coming around it. I truly appreciate, again, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on board and doing this with us and speaking to our members here today.
I appreciate
All
it.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, Diana, Amy. There's so many others that came. Thank you, guys. I sure appreciate it. And if you're watching it in replay, do hashtag replay so you know that you benefited from it, and we'll continue to bring this for you. All right. Bye, guys. See you again.